Hi, my name is Chen Li. I am a 2018 Beckman Young investigator. First, I want to thank the Arnold and Mabel Beckman Foundation for the generous support. My BYI work is on neuromechanics of locomotion in complex 3D terrain. We have been talking about having robots help humans in many applications. As you can see here, a variety of terrestrial robots have been developed over the last couple of decades. Some of them are already moving really well in the real world. And the ability of robots to be able to do so is largely thanks to the understanding of their interaction with the environment. We know that for flight and swimming, we have huge fields of aero and hydrodynamics, which allowed us to understand complex fluid structure interaction. For terrestrial locomotion, we also have decades of research which helped us understand the interaction with flat rigid ground to generate robust locomotion. It's because we know such interaction as well as we do that we have now these beautiful robots from places like Boston Dynamics. On the other hand, the real world is not always flat and rigid. In fact, it can often be three-dimensional with many large obstacles. And in such complex 3D terrain, such simple interaction models no longer apply. In other words, we need a Terradynamics. And this has been what my lab has been trying to do over the last several years. Dr. Beckman has a strong belief as well as support from his foundation to support research that invents new methods, instruments, and materials that opens up new avenues of research, as well as applying them to sciences as well as other disciplines. And I really strongly echo with his philosophy. I have been trying to do this since I was a PhD student until now as a faculty member early in my career. And I'm really grateful that this award has allowed me and my lab to continue to create new tools and models to establish this new field. So when it comes to traversing complex environments, the majority of the robots have actually been doing what obstacle avoidance, basically using a geometric map. By making driving transitions. However, we cannot always avoid obstacles in these kinds of complex 3D terrain. We really have to interact with the environment to traverse. And animals do this exceedingly well, as we can see from just a few examples. They achieve this by combining both sensory feedback as well as passive mechanics. This is what's called the neuromechanics framework of animal locomotion. Earlier in our lab, we had studied the mechanical aspects of such locomotor transitions to traverse obstacles by looking at cockroaches going through grass-like beams to discover the first mechanical principles. Funded by the BYI, we further studied how they can make active adjustments and have developed a robot with sensors embedded to measure forces so that we can systematically study the principles of sensing and feedback control. On the more practical front, we have also developed more recently a multifunctional robot which combines a diversity of strategies to traverse many different kinds of obstacles as well as self-right when it flips over. We have demonstrated that with a human in the loop control, we can switch to the right strategies to traverse to achieve this multifunctionality, which the majority of larger legged robots cannot yet do. However, we haven't been able to fully make this autonomous, and that would require a principled understanding of sensory feedback control and planning, which we're currently still pursuing. On the more sensory guided traversal aspects, we have also created a terrain treadmill to keep an animal on top, going through many obstacles for a long time and a large distance, as you can see here. And this also enabled us to observe the animal and terrain interaction at high spatial resolution. Finally, we also have been applying the same approach to try to understand limbless locomotion in complex 3D terrain. As we can see, snakes can go through 3D terrain really well, but our majority of understanding of their locomotion has been, again, limited to relatively flat surfaces, which is mostly two-dimensional. And this has consequences in robotics as well, as demonstrated by this one of the best snake robots so far. Even though they move relatively well in simple environment, when it comes to complex 3D terrain like earthquake rubble, they are really still struggling, and they can suffer high instability. They can be quite slow if you want to control them to be stable, and they also slip a whole lot, cannot really generate propulsion really well. So in an earlier study, we found that snakes can actually transition between two different gaits to traverse large obstacle, as well as using their compliant body to conform to the surfaces to help maintain stability. By applying these gaits as well as the compliance to a robot, we enabled high probability and high speed traversal, surpassing previous snake robots. And most recently, we looked at how snakes traverse these complex 3D terrain with many large obstacles, and found that they pretty much don't slip at all, indicating they can generate really good propulsion. We further developed a method to quantify with high accuracy their body interaction with the obstacles, and found that besides laterally pushing against obstacles, which people have known for decades, they can also bend their body up and down to generate additional propulsion using vertical bending. And this is previously neglected, and it vastly opens up the available points for snakes and snake robots to push against to generate propulsion. To further understand the principles of this systematically, we again have developed a snake robot with many force sensors distributed throughout, and are currently studying the principles of doing this. So our longer term vision is that by understanding the mechanics as well as sensor feedback control, basically the neuromechanics of locomotion in complex 3D terrain, we can begin to really enable robots to not just avoid, but also traverse many such difficult, challenging environments to make an impact in the real world. I would like to thank all my lab members, our collaborators and colleagues, and of course, the Beckman Foundation for the generous support. Thank you.